someone else who had great difficulty to reach Figueira. Since she arrived, she feels dizzy, especially when she walks around the areas. And she sees herself walking on three paths. First, it's a narrow path. The second one is a physical, normal road. And the third path is a completely ruined road. It's the mind of the person that is not united. Because if we see ourselves on three paths, feel dizzy and feel unwell, it's because the mind is not united, it's split. So we shouldn't think about these things. We should reflect upon your spiritual goal and concentrate on that goal. Place the mind on one and only goal, and everything else disappears. The path is one, not three. It is our mind that sees three. Here, someone is asking for us to summarize our regime, our nutritional diet here. Here, our proposal is not to create any conflict with eating. Our proposal is for us to feed on what is offered to us because we consider that which comes to the table as what God has manifested here. Here we receive donations, including food. We have cultivations. So what the cultivations produce and what they give us as donation is our food. This is the proposal we have here. And the proposal here is for us to feed, to nourish the body, just for that. There's no intention of feeding. We have no intention to purify ourselves, becoming saints, intelligent. There's nothing like that. Here we nourish to keep the body, to preserve the body. If we didn't have a body to feed, we wouldn't even think of eating. Food here is something that doesn't exist regarding our goals. The food here is taken care of so that it may nourish the bodies. Only that. If someone needs something different from what is presented on the table, there are doctors here who examine the person, who talk to the person, and they either establish a regime, the doctors, not anyone else. The doctors are those who guide the kitchens and no one else. It's the doctors that should guide the kitchens in cases of need. But as here, we are not concerned with food. We are not here to eat. We are not here to fast. We are not here to use this element as a spiritual path. Kitchen and refectory and deposits and cultivation fields exist here so that we may preserve the bodies. No other intention. So here, whoever becomes worried about food or question food is wasting an energy that they might be placing on the work here, the work with the energy and the work with the laws that we study here and that we develop here. So any change of regime, any abnormality should be seen with the doctors and in a very normal and peaceful way for the benefit of the body of the person. But if the person stays with the mind connected to that, then we need something else. We need a psychiatrist, no longer cooks. But if the mind is connected to this, we also have psychiatric health. So the idea here is that food is for keeping the physical body. If you have eaten, take this out of your mind because we have many other things to think about here. We have lots of things to develop here. We have to maintain relationships with other levels of consciousness. We have to work for the well-being of others. We have to offer others a broader vision of life, and especially we should relate internally with more developed worlds, with more developed civilizations. We should have maintain contact with our monad, our spirit, our higher being. We should be recognizing the presence of the hierarchy, so no one should have time left to think about rice, beans, potatoes. Here, there are many proposals, many ideas, and material time that we have here is not enough to deal with everything. So let's leave this matter of nourishment for the kitchens, which are wonderful people who are really dedicated and devoted, who have many conditions to cook. Any problem, look for the doctors. Don't complain in the kitchen, don't talk to the cooks. Tell the doctors this is doing harm to me, so the doctors will see if it is a mental issue of the person, because our minds heal us or make us indifferent to something or make us stuck in something. And here we are in the position of not taking care of this. However, now and then we receive questions like this one. And something else is that if here we do not worry ourselves about food, basically, unless the body starts complaining, because we have to keep our minds in other topics. If anyone here starts fasting, this is also not recommended, and we ask everyone not to go on fasting here in any way, because fasting was used by those who followed the spiritual path in other times when people were already in communication with their spirits, when there was a channel opened of relationship with the spirit, then they might even not eat. But without this channel with the Spirit, and without the Spirit ordering that we should not eat, this is no longer done. So, in old times, in the spiritual discipline of normal people, fasting was a part of that. Even mass religions recommended fasting once a year or once a month. That used to be recommended even by mass religions. That was healthy for everyone. But with the contamination of the planet, with the pollution, with the air pollution, the water pollution, the deterioration of foods through fertilizers, the bodies be- became not really weakened in all cases, but they may have become vulnerable because some substances are missing in the air and water, so the bodies have become vulnerable. And vulnerable bodies that are not very strong as they used to be before, when life was healthier and when humanity was less debilitated and worn out, as the bodies today do not no longer have the same strength, we cannot allow here members of the essential group to fast here unless doctors recommend as for purification. But even then, certain supports are given to people in the form of synthetic things, repose, certain baths that are strengthening. There are many ways that someone may undergo a certain purification and cleansing without using these old processes that are no longer recommendable. Here we remember that once someone asked a saint if they should go on fasting, but you should fast all the time. You should only eat what is necessary, eat that which your body needs, nothing else. This is considered fasting. For someone who is updated, fasting is not depriving the body from things because bodies today have a lot less reserves than they used to have before. So today, fasting is our making use of the basic food that the body needs without um, accepting luxury or gluttony. You see, fasting is not non-eating. Being aware that you are using what is necessary for the maintenance of your body, even also because there is a lot of inequality in this field. There are people who waste food. Also here in Brazil, I don't know if you know that 40% of Brazilian production is wasted. Everything that is harvested goes to the garbage can. This is serious. In such inequality, in which 40% of what the country produces goes to the garbage can, and that millions of people do not have what to eat. In such a situation, we should be attentive to make use of only that which we need, not more nor less, because otherwise our body will feel and will not be able to fulfill their tasks the way it was destined to do. And we take care of the body with food and other things. We take care of the body not because we have an idealization of the body or because we have a special attraction for the body. It's because we need the body to fulfill our stages upon the earth. Is this clear? So we ask those who used to fast, those who abstain, who live on water, on air, on certain foods, that before coming here they should prepare for here to abstain from these things so that they may join the energy of the group and experience a different kind of energy and maybe discover something and make contact with other possibilities and help us reinforce this group energy and reinforce this group union because our being different from others in appearance, this does not contribute for group unity, because when you show yourself to be different from others, you are not contributing to unity. You're not contributing to unity. It's not a secret to anyone that there are no two people alike. Everyone knows that. And there is not there are not two beings on the same evolutionary point. There's no need at all for you to show you are different. The more, on the contrary, the more you are united to others, the more you are willing to go towards others, to see yourself as, to show yourselves like others, the more you contribute for unity, the unity among all souls. This principle for you not to be like others, but for you to unite, join, to collaborate. This should be a very well-defined intention for all of us who are treading the spiritual path. Otherwise, it'll be difficult for someone to accompany us. Aren't we accompanied by others, or don't we accompany others? Isn't this chain? Aren't we all moving forward together? So we should not create an environment of separateness in which others disconnect from us, these other links of the chain. This is a chain of force. This is one humanity, and we have a certain degree of responsibility for maintaining this united. And often we need to adapt to people, situations, and whenever we adapt, and whenever we have this intention of uniting, there is no danger whatsoever of our being harmed, because everything we give away in excess on this spiritual path, on this path of unity, if we make any excess and if we are sincere in this self-giving, the Spirit will supply that which we need. There is no danger of any kind of lack when there is sincerity and balance. Balance is something that we should reflect upon also, because balance is something different for each person. It depends on the state of the person, it depends on the psychological state they have, their previous incarnations. So balance is something very personal, and we have to remain balanced on our spiritual evolutionary point and our evolution and in the circumstances in which we find ourselves. If we have this intention of maintaining this balance in us, this aspiration for balance, that will define things. This is what we will radiate. So we maintain our balance, whatever our situation. This will radiate, unite with others' balance. So we'll end up having a general balance, which is also not the same for each one. So it's a general balance, which is the quest for balance among everyone. We are not asking anyone to be like others. We are not asking anyone to compare with those who are balanced. We should not compare with anyone. It's not comparison. You do your best along this line of balance and unity. And if everyone does the same, everything will be all right. And the energy, the group of souls, or the group of monads, or the rulership, the regency of the group will take care of the rest of that which we cannot take care of. We should be peaceful, balanced, without any kind of ambition, any greed, without any kind of criticism, because there is a greater wisdom, a higher plane of consciousness in which we are included and which does everything as long as we do our part. Is this clear? This is not an imposition, nor is it a declaration of principles. This is an energy that exists here and that we are all invited not to disturb. This is an energy that has been given to us, and the work started in this energy. So we are invited not to alter this balance, not to alter this proposal, which we do not know where it'll take us. We know that this is what is supposed to be, and we have faith that this will lead us to where it should go. Not to alter this balance, to remain balanced, and to reflect if this is the path. If it is not, do something else. You don't. It's not an obligation, but maintain this balance, this unity, this peace, so that we may work on ourselves. Ourselves, there is rebellion, conflict, disharmony. Ourselves are all waiting to be tidied up. So in order for this to take place and for ourselves to manifest the light of the cells, we need in our consciousness, we need this clear proposal because down here, we are working on conscious things, and the greater part of the work is unconscious. The greater part of the work here is on the unconscious plane. The greater part here is done, carried out by the souls, the monads, the groups of souls, and the energy of the rays that work here. So we have a lot here to take care of. We have a lot here to do. We have a lot to learn, and we really should not waste time with things like this. We have so many things to deal with besides this. And in faith, we will leave that left for the reflection and what good upbringing of each one, and especially the guidance from the soul of each one. This is our level of personality. Our level of personality are not these conflicts, these arguments, or comparisons. Our level of personality here is this. All the personalities self-controlling and connecting with their own souls and considering this unity of souls. This is the work of the personality here. Here there is a report that is very interesting from a group that underwent a retreat and suggested for them to reflect about the word believe. So for this group, it became very clear that in a study about believing, that such a study would be warmly welcome. To believe is a stage that is previous to faith. The one who believes should walk towards having faith because they are two different things. So believing is a previous stage. If I believe in someone, or if I believe in a work, or if I believe in some goal, I am at a previous stage, previous to being secure of this goal or of this work or of that being. The one who believes in something may cease to believe at any moment. This is not safe. To believe in something is a very insecure situation because you may cease to believe suddenly, and then a certain balance may dilute or become diluted. When we believe in something, it's because we have external reasons for that. External reasons for that. And the external reasons may change because the circumstances can change. So the circumstances change, so that changes. So I used to believe for an external reason. If we believe in things that are lofty, if we believe in evolutionary things, if we believe in other people's qualities, this is not enough. Because when that quality changes, we no longer believe. So we already know that this is not enough. But if we continue to believe in that which is positive, and if we are sincere in this belief, something happens. The spirit, the monad starts attracting the soul. Because as the personality or the soul believes, there is a climate for that monad to start attracting that soul. And this soul, if it starts being attracted by the monad, this belief is transformed into faith. This is something secure because faith does not base itself on what happens. It's not based on anything external. Faith is something that the monad has transmitted and is based on the reality of the monad and not the reality of the personality or the world. Faith is not based on anything that the world offers. You have faith because the monad has transmitted this to you. The monad has given this feeling to you, which you preserve despite everything. So the monad transmits faith in life to you. The monad is what can transmit faith in life to you because it's indestructible. If your faith in life comes from your monad, even at the moment of your death, you have faith in life. Life is something higher and on a level in which the death does not exist. Then you believe in life. And the moment that your in this incarnation, this embodiment is approaching, you have faith in life. And anything that may happen, even if everyone dies, even if everything transforms itself, if someone dies, you continue to have faith in life because it comes from a plane in you where things are eternal, things are not unreal. So, the reason for our faith is not in anything from here. If you have faith in something, that does not depend on anyone. Everyone can disappoint you. Faith was not in people. Faith was not in what happens. Faith lies in inner nuclei of ours, in an inner situation of ours that gives us an impression and experience of being a part of one life that is endless, that is eternal. Faith gives this. Faith is not moved by anything. Nothing changes its faith because faith looks towards other planes, other realities, and different laws from the mental laws that create belief, the goodwill, believing. All this is mutable, changeable. So we really need to tread this path so that we may reach something else. If we work on faith, if we invoke the monad, if we address our monad, if we address our spirit, crying out, asking for it to come, asking for it to become conscious in us, for it to give us this awareness, then we will have faith. This is the first thing we'll receive, this security, this undisturbable thing that nothing can change, nothing can transform. Together with this faith, something comes which we needed from the beginning and we couldn't have, which is direct knowledge of things. For this, we need faith, because with faith, you will have direct knowledge. So you do not need to believe or not believe. You no longer need to like or not like or dislike. You have direct knowledge of what is. So before a being, you have the direct knowledge of what that being is. You have the direct knowledge of what any situation is good for, and so on and so forth. And if we gradually develop this faith, if we gradually become aligned with this faith, if we incline to this situation, we'll start seeing that the mental obstacles start being overcome, because mental obstacles of those who do not have faith are very important things. There are some people who have some mental obstacles, such as these ones of food and so many things. These are mental obstacles of transcending things that are not important and do not have the same weight that other things have and evolutionary laws that we are trying to contact. So, in order for us to overcome mental obstacles that are sometimes strong, something that are deeply rooted, there are racial things from many incarnations. They are some things that we take as real because they are very old, very ancient. They come through the genetic code, through heredity. So we have mental obstacles that are so perfect that we take the conditions of our minds, that we take our prejudice as reality. So these mental obstacles, these prejudices, these ideas are so much stronger than what we can understand. So we need a faith that is deeply assumed, assumed so that we can see these mental obstacles dissolving, because faith means contact with the monad. The monad is a nucleus of ours that is infinitely above our mental level. So the monad, from this infinite, broad level, can send the energy to dissolve our current mental situation, our mental obstacles. And faith is also the bridge that we have for what is immaterial. Without faith, you cannot reach the immaterial consciousness. Without faith, you cannot perceive what is immaterial, what is inner, what is internal, because they are other laws that have nothing to do with everything for which we are trained. We are taught, we have been trained and formed to deal with material laws. Aren't you all formed to deal with the law of work, for example? Don't you all know that in the material world that it is through work that you gain things, that it is through the work and cultivations that we get the food. So we are formed with material laws, and none of this is true on other planes. On the other plane, you have everything without having done anything to obtain that, and the other who has done everything to get that does not have it. This is a different reality, a broader reality. On this plane, the one who doesn't work does not eat. On the other plane, it's something different. On the other plane, there is not such work, there is no eating, there's no retribution, there is nothing like that on the other plane. But in order for us to start perceiving it and feeling it, for us to start to become aware of this plane and start changing this here, which is so much dated and not updated. For us to start actualizing this, we need faith, because faith is what connects us with this energy. Without faith, only by believing, we remain on the same level of this plane, but we don't go beyond it. The energy of belief is not enough for this. The energy of belief leads us to a certain limit, but also belief can become disappointed. Belief goes that far and no longer, not beyond that. So it ceases to believe. Belief goes up to a certain level, and from that point on, we need faith. So we need to have this faith in the heart, this aspiration to have faith, and having faith that we will have faith, and have faith that we will live this faith, and then really nothing will be missing for us. At the moments of the greatest harassment from the evolutionary forces, the forces that are contrary to evolution, and here on the earth of surface, we are reaching a critical moment of this topic. So the evolutionary forces on the surface, for the time being, they are fighting among themselves. You see the wars, the conflicts, the fights, the arguments. These are involutionary forces fighting against one another. There are no longer beings of good and beings of non good. In a conflict, all beings are in the non good fighting one another. So we need faith to rise above this. We need faith so that we will no longer participate in any kind of clash, of conflict, of difference, any kind of imbalance. We need faith to be beyond all this and from there helping so that everything may become more balanced, well organized, with the help of the seventh ray, which is very active at this time. So we are not working alone. We are not working only with our race. When we are here in this direction, we are counting on the presence on earth of the seventh ray. So everything that we do that is not enough, everything that we cannot achieve because we are not completely trained to deal with these forces yet. So the seventh ray will complete this hierarchy of the seventh ray, completes us, but we need faith for all of this. So all this harassment of the involutionary forces, we can get rid of this through faith. And also the contact with these higher worlds, the contact with this higher consciousness will start experiencing it through faith. So faith nowadays is fundamental. Not faith that you will have lunch soon. We don't need faith for that because many people are taking care of your lunch. You really need to believe or to have faith that you will be above these involutionary conflicts. You must have faith that you will have your consciousness present in the higher worlds and you will be in contact with the faith that you are already in contact on your inner levels with these higher laws, with these higher worlds. This is our work. Our work is to exercise faith. Our work is to have this faith active, and this is our work. Everything else is an apparent work and secondary work to fulfill certain laws from other countries, from other planes, and they need to be fulfilled also because there are many consciousnesses in evolutionary stages that are behind this or below this. While we are in the quest for this faith, we have a whole human kingdom that is lost, a whole animal kingdom that is lost and ignorant, a plant kingdom that is being destroyed. We have a mineral kingdom that is being destroyed with all these genetic experiences and atomic and nuclear experiences that are done, and we have all this around us, and we need to be in on another point, and a point of faith, to such a point that we may be instruments for this situation to change. And of course, for this, we even have constellations that are working to help this planet. So everything that we cannot do in faith, we will be participating in this because all these constellations, all these cosmic forces are working for this. And in these retreats that we are carrying out, these retreats have an energy that can expand us into all these things. These retreats are carried out in the lands of the sun, terras do sol, which are sunny lands, so to say, lands that are internally connected with many things which we should reach and we should understand, because in these retreats We have been having very good experiences. People have been growing, and it would be very important if people could gather in homogeneous groups so that in the same group, people who are seeking things that are different. There are people who go on retreat to become coordinated. Others go on retreat seeking silence so that they may become calm. But other people go on retreat to make contact with other realities. So it would be good for these groups if they were organized in a homogeneous way so that in the retreat there might not be any need for adaptation among people because one wants to be quiet. We need to organize this so that these retreats may start or enter a different point. Up to now, the retreats have fulfilled their goal, so much so that all this sharing came from the proposal of a group that have just left a retreat. So these retreats have fulfilled a certain stage. Now these retreats need to start a new stage, and it's up to those who are in charge of this, and it's up to us who are members of this work to ask for lights to see the next stage of these retreats because there are many opportunities for retreat here. In all areas, we have the possibility for retreat. People can do retreat here, even in their own rooms, if they really want to go on retreat. But here, there are many possibilities of retreat. And this retreat of the lands of the sun, Terras do Sol, these retreats should be retreats in which people are taking their own next step that would be facilitated. It's very different from wanting to be quiet, to sleep, to become aligned. It's a different situation. So the person who is going to take a step, they must have a certain discernment. They must have a possibility to guide themselves, the possibility to have their schedule in accordance with their inner rhythm, not to have the same hours for everyone. This is a stage that might even continue for certain groups, but we need to be attentive because this is no longer the case for everyone. I have been receiving impressions from people who go on these retreats and have left the retreat in a different point. I received a letter from someone the other day who left the retreat in a different point. If they have a new retreat in the future, it can't be the same thing because they are in a different point. So we have to accompany these things so that the lens of the sun may manifest all that which they are here to manifest as an environment, as a level, as a vibratory level for some things to take place with the people and within the people. So I think that the retreats have always been well done, so much so that the moment has come for them to change, and let's see how it will be developed. This is left to you because it's you who like these retreats, who love these retreats, and who need these retreats. Each one must have the aspiration to collaborate with the organizers and to collaborate with the environment because when you go on retreat, it's better if we are not in conflict, any kind of conflict, so that we do not stabilize an energy that is being formed in the place of the retreat. So a certain energy is formed that comes from an extraplanetary base, an intraterrestrial base, and there a certain stabilization is formed, a certain kind of energy coalesces, and we start cooperating so that it may extend throughout the planet. We will enter there and will be healed of many things and will be raised and regulated in our vibration. If we enter there in conflict, any kind of conflict, then all that energy will busy itself to treat us, to give us a treatment, an energy procedure, instead of being an opportunity of a real inner step. Because one thing is the energy procedure, and here you can make an appointment and do it the whole day. You may need an energy procedure and you will do this, but the retreat is not for that. The retreat is for people who have undergone this procedure and they are already in a certain energy organization. So the retreat is for these people to take a step, a step guided by their own inner being, their internal being of theirs. So I think that the lands of the sun have everything for this to take place. There's nothing missing there for us to change the energy of our retreats. So everything that is there is available for this to take place with these groups that go there and that will go there from now on with these groups or these individuals, because people there can also make individual retreats. We have many kinds of retreats, we have many proposals, and the short path is one of them. The short path is a proposal to awaken in people an ability for synthesis. The short path was created to develop synthesis in people. There, things happen in an organized and synthetic way. So the short path is a place where only what is necessary is said, only what is necessary is eaten, and we move only what is necessary. That is the place for what is strictly necessary, so that people may learn to synthesize, to sleep only what is necessary, to be awakened as long as necessary. There is a place for people to discover their time for them to learn to concentrate on what is necessary and therefore synthesize. So, on this short path, it's not a work for you to make long reflections on things. On the contrary, the, the less you think, there is a place for you to synthesize, to learn to go where you have to go there, to do specifically what you are supposed to do at that moment. That's the short path, so that people may train this to place that on life, to do the short path in life, not the long path as is usually done.